Today we're going to talk about the Xiaomi Watch S1 Pro. This is a latest edition that was just announced at MWC 2023, and one of the biggest features that we have in here, and on top of the fact that obviously it's a large AMOLED display, is also the introduction of MIUI watchOS. It's a new OS from Xiaomi for mobile, well, specifically for their watches. The biggest benefit, of course, is fitness tracking capabilities, connectivity to both iOS and Android, but the main benefit, of course, is the fact that I got a chance to test it out with the brand new Xiaomi 13 Pro. This is TK and this is my review of the brand new Xiaomi Watch S1 Pro. Let's check it out. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. This is the Watch S1 Pro. The box itself is actually pretty straightforward, as you'd imagine. Nice box, of course. Now, some of the information that we get here, obviously advanced health tracking and workout tracking, up to 100 tracking. We have not only heart rate, but also SpO2, sleep, and more, stress as well. Built-in GPS with 100 plus fitness modes, and that's going to built into it. 5-system dual band GPS with 5 atmosphere water resistance. So definitely we'll be able to go swimming with this. Last but not least, of course, is up to 14 days with the 500 milliampere battery that's built in here, and it does include wireless charging with the proprietary charger that's included in the box. Now, the next thing obviously we're looking here is a classic sleek design. This looks very much like a regular watch. It's not looking more of a fitness tracker, although at its core it has a very much a fitness tracker experience built into it. Sapphire glass and of course stainless steel case that's going to be present, and of course 2 different bands, one of them being leather. As far as the display, we have a 1.47 AMOLED display. It's an ultra thin bezel design on it, as well as a 480 by 480 ppi as far as the resolution, exquisite watch faces, and of course always on display, as I was showing you guys in the introduction. One of the biggest things, as again mentioned here, is the all-new MIUI watchOS. This is built specifically for unifying the UI elements between the smartphone and the smartwatch, and of course a smoother interface for running on our devices. Now, the package does include the wireless charger. This is a puck-style charger that you basically design, or you put in the watch itself and it stays on. It is magnetic, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it sideways. You can actually put it on, charge your device, and it should charge from almost any USB output. Just needs about 1 volt as far as the amperage out there. And of course, the always on display, as you see there, I have this turned on from one of the watch faces that I downloaded directly from their store. So it comes with a lot of options, but I added additional ones into it. Starting off with the actual watch, as I mentioned to you guys, nice AMOLED display, 480 by 480. There's different options, of course, and different UI elements. We'll get to that in a second. Now, the crown itself, or the actual activation button here, is a single button and also is a spinnable button. So it's basically a scroll option that you can use. So essentially, when you're in there, you don't have to actually keep pressing it. I mean, you could still technically use the UI element just to kind of scroll through, but definitely very nice option. Pressing it once takes us to the App Store, and of course, pressing it again takes us home. It does not scroll through the screens. Unfortunately, I wish that was something that was available. We do have another button that's a little bit more recessed here, and that activates our exercise mode. Now, you are able to reprogram this in the actual UI element. And as I mentioned to you guys in the beginning, we have over 100 exercises. Let's go ahead and go back to the beginning. And this is basically what you're first greeted with, like outdoor running and so on. And again, you have the crown functionality built in here. You can go in there, there's more, and again, they're listing to have up to 100 exercises or 100 plus exercises available. As far as the watch faces, by default, if you press and hold on it, you can actually switch through, again, digital crown. This becomes very, very functional, and you're able to see the different elements or the different options that are built in. We'll check them out also in the app. This is also going to work with the MIUI, or basically the Xiaomi Health app that we can download directly for either Android or iOS. Swiping on the left, we have access to Alexa, and of course we can access this and configure it. We have a timer built in, basically breathing, SpO2, and all of that. We'll double check that in a second. The timing on that is a little bit quick on this. We have obviously a calendar, weather, as well as sleep tracking, outdoor exercise tracking. It is beyond midnight. I was getting ready to shoot this video, so I'll show you guys in this real quick clip that I just took before midnight with my step counting for this day, and it has been working really, really nice. On the bottom, when you switch it over, you'll notice that these are the sensors that are built in at the bottom for SpO2, stress testing, and of course heart rate. All of those are built in. The bands are replaceable. This one did not come with the leather option. There is another one that actually does come with leather, and of course there's another color for stainless steel option. Now this one is all black. It looks really nice and it functions very nicely. The battery again is a 500 milliampere battery that can actually last us up to 14 days. Now, I will say that one thing to keep in mind when we're talking about 14 days, that's 14 days without having always on display. So that battery kind of drops a little bit. For me, I've been running it since Saturday of last week, and today is basically Friday morning, early morning on Friday, and we're up to 52% with the always on display. I love this because this makes it easy for me to just basically see the time without having to activate it. I can always click it and turn it on. Now, you'll notice on the top, we have access to our notification. Those come straight from our phone. And on the bottom, we have access to a few toggles, percentages. Also, if you're playing music on your device, your smartphone, it'll automatically add the music widget directly from the bottom above all of these. Of course, we have water repel option here. This is in case you do swimming. You're able to expel the water directly out of it. We have flashlight mode. And of course, we have Find My Device, the settings section, notifications and so on. You can block notification and on wrist raise to wake option, of course. In the settings themselves on the watch, you're able to customize the watch faces, again, the crown, headphones if you want to connect a pair of Bluetooth headphones to them to play music, sound and vibration, display configuration as far as the always on display, you can also turn that on in there, brightness, auto lock, and of course, raise to wake configured, double tap to wake, and of course, cover to sleep, always on display. I have it set to be smart, which means if I'm not wearing it, it doesn't turn it on. And of course, the theme option by default, I kept it there. We have do not disturb, auto detect, exercise mode or exercise shortcut, that's going to be the one at the bottom, you can configure that, app layout as well as pin. And one of the big things as far as the system section, which I really appreciated, now here we have a couple of options. It says connect to new device or factory reset. You do not need to factory reset the watch to connect it to a new phone. I switched it from the Xiaomi 13 to the 13 Pro because they were sent to me at different times, and it actually just carried over. That was a beautiful thing. I logged back in with the same Xiaomi account and everything just kind of carried over for me very nicely. So let's go ahead and check real quick the health application directly on our smartphone. So the app that we need to use is the Mi Health application. It's compatible with Android 6.0 or higher or iOS 10.0 or later. So the overall experience, anything within the last few years, this should be pretty easy for you to set up and work with perfectly. Now again, information here is basically listed for today, but if I just switch over to the day before, even the day before that, and of course other days, you can definitely see how it's tracking. We have the calories burned, the steps, and of course moving minutes and so on, all of that information, and it does keep it and you're able to jump back into history information. We have the ability of basically setting up competition mode, workout, heart rate, steps, calorie burned, standing, blood oxygen wasn't measured today, but you can definitely check it out and we'll talk about that in a second. Weight overall, and of course setting up all the other information. You're able to set up workouts with GPS tracking directly from the app. Of course, otherwise you just jump into the device. And this is what it looks like when you pair it. The, again, Xiaomi Watch S1 Pro, 52% battery, and of course you can activate sync or it does it every so often. Watch faces is actually pretty nice. We have the local ones that are built into the actual watch, all of those up to the one that came in here with the green. Now that one is the one I downloaded, and of course Elantra, all of the different options you're able to download and transfer directly. They do have an excessive basically listing on other watch faces that you can also download as well as applications. Now Alexa and Amazon Alexa is pretty straightforward. You have to just log in and customize or activate your account directly from here. Once you do so, it'll take you in and customize it and authenticate it for you to be able to use it. And it works just as you'd expect. No voice prompts, but for the most part, the way you're looking at it right now is you can ask it questions and the answers will be straight up on your display very nicely. Now, if we jump back in here, we have app notification, incoming calls, background permission, of course, we need to turn that on. Heart rate monitoring, sleep monitoring, blood oxygen, stress level, and standing option, of course. It does support Xiaomi Pay, but I've never used this functionality before. So if you're familiar with it and it works in your region, this is going to work perfectly. Apps, alarm, and of course events, weather information you can customize and turn on here so that it works on the watch. Favorite contacts, of course, for auto dialing directly from the watch. Widgets, D&D sync, and of course sleep mode, all of those things can be customized. And of course under widgets, you can customize the different faces that you have. You notice those are the ones by default, with the exception of the watch face, of course. And you can move them in the order that you want them, so you don't have to worry about them and configure them in that way. Emergency SOS, PIN, of course, and unlock phone if you'd like to do that. Help center and update. I did receive one update since I've received this device, and of course it's been working great. There is no more. It is running version 2.0.1.7 as the latest software version. And of course, about device, it's pretty straightforward, serial number information, all that good stuff. Once you have this customized and installed, it's pretty straightforward. It really, you just use the watch as a normal one, you get notifications. I will say that we're not able to respond back to messages, so I'll go here essentially. You'll notice there's a few options in here, like here, I can open up Twitter, I can look at the different options in here, but when I select it, it just basically reads out the entire thing, and it says dismiss or open on phone. So I'll go ahead and say open on phone, it'll open it up here. And it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you can imagine how functional this is if you need to kind of go further, but we don't have a way of responding back. Again, this is technically a fitness tracker at its core, but it definitely feels and it works much nicer. You can definitely appreciate the design. Let me go ahead and put it on. Now, the strap itself goes through one loop, and then the other option just goes straight into the band on the inside for basically zero chances of this thing unstrapping and falling out of your hand. But for the most part, this is pretty secure. And of course, you have the watch raise to wake is already set up. And of course, all of the different options that you want. Now, for Alexa, all I have to do is press it. What's the time? Obviously, it is 12:48 a.m. I'm just, this was like the easiest question I can ask. But overall, as far as the UI element, very nice. And this is one of the really nice things of the MIUI options. There's going to be more things added, of course, at a later time. The watch face that I picked has not only the steps, but the heart rate as well as the battery percentage, which is really nice. And of course, it gives me access to the calorie burns, the time of day, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and go real quick. So the heart rate, you notice it started automatically. I have that on 24 hours. Weather-wise, I showed you this before. This is sleep. We're not sleeping yet. I can turn on timers with different options that are built in here. So basically quick, easy access. Breathing option, but let's go ahead and do the, this is the SpO2. I'm gonna let it measure right now. I'm gonna put my hand down. And you can see right there, it says 96%. Now it measures this and of course adds it into the other configurations in there. Now, if we jump into here real quick under stress, this is pretty straightforward. You need to make sure to put the watch above mostly your wrist, keep still, and then just give it enough time for it to process. And it's basically measuring the stress level. And since I'm technically working very late, it basically says that it's mild. It's middle of the night, but overall it's actually pretty decent. Overall, looks really nice. Configuration, everything is pretty good. I found that the step counting on this is actually pretty accurate comparing it to my other smartwatch, which is the TicWatch Pro Ultra, the TicWatch 3 Pro Ultra option that I have. So overall, been really nice, and it works very nice and looks great, of course, with our device. So I've been using it for the last week, and as I mentioned to you guys, we're barely at the 52% on the battery life. The functionalities that we get in here are very much so in line with more of a fitness tracker. But what I love about it is the new UI element for Xiaomi, the MIUI OS option for watches. And of course, the integration that works much nicer with the devices. Like specifically, if I'm playing music, I'm able to control it from here as far as the volume and the music's option. And I love the fact that I'm able also to trigger the camera if I'd like to be able to use it as a camera trigger. There's a lot of functional applications. There was one additional app that I was able to download, which is a scientific calculator that I added it in there, but I'm hoping to see more apps added at a later time. Obviously, this is just as launched, and of course, that's basically what comes with it right now, but it's going to get better as time goes on with updates and of course, compatibility and additional things. And I will say by far, one of my favorite features is the fact that if I actually want to move it from one phone to another, it doesn't reset the watch. The information stays on it and it syncs back into the system. And that was something that we always have a problem with the Android and Wear OS, is that if you move from one device to the other, you have to reset the entire configuration and get it to go through from there. The Xiaomi Fitness app is pretty much all you need on the phone, and it connects via Bluetooth, and it's not consistently connecting to your phone, so it's able to last longer, up to that 14 days of usage. So based on what I've had, today is roughly Friday morning, and I've had it since last Saturday, I actually see it kind of getting almost all the way up to 14 days, even with the always on display. You're able to customize different options in there if you want to turn it on or turn it off. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for a new, really nice looking watch that looks like more of a regular watch from Xiaomi, this is definitely going to hit the bill, and of course, way more functional and way more option than you can imagine. And of course, we'll keep getting better. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the brand new watch? And of course, are you more in line, or do you prefer a regular looking watch fitness option from Xiaomi? Or do you prefer the Mi Band functionalities that we had before? Again, we did the Pro version actually about 4 months ago or so, around the 10T Pro that we just launched in Germany. So thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual. I'll see you in the next video.